What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. I'm going to talk a little bit today about my caloric intake, my maintenance, my above maintenance, etc., because I'm getting a lot of fucking camera angle. Honestly, I'm not doing this on purpose, guys. Sometimes it really just is off. I'm getting a lot of questions from people on how to situate their own caloric intake and carb cycle, fat load, junk load, all these different things based on what I do. So they'll ask me, well, what is your diet like? What is this? What is that? Now, I was also asked, how far in a caloric deficit am I, and how far am I over my caloric, my basal metabolic rate, my caloric expenditure, how much am I over it when I fat load and carb load, etc. And I don't know. I have no idea, and there's no answer to that question because every day my calories are different. So I do not have a daily macro. So flexible dieting has, for the day, you hit your macros. I don't have any daily macros or daily calorie count to hit. I have a meal macro. So I have one macro for every meal, so they're all even. And whenever I'm hungry, I eat that. So that means if I'm hungry 10 times a day, I eat 10 times a day. If I'm hungry 4 times a day, then I eat 4 times a day. The basis on this being is the metabolism adjusts daily. And there's no denying that scientifically that it does, based on caloric expenditure throughout the day, sleep patterns, I mean, you name it, environmental things like if you're out in the sun all day, more than likely you're going to burn more calories than if you were sitting in the house. I flatten out very fast from being in the hot weather. Other people, they're fine. So basically, I don't even know what my maintenance would be. There was no calculation that was done. And pretty much, if I'm hungry, I eat. So as you can see, there are days where I'll refeed, which is not a carb load, or refeed, which would be a junk refeed, and it'll be a meal. And that meal could be 2,500 calories. So if I was eating, let's say 2,800 calories, this was 2,500 calories, that's putting me at like 5,000 something calories for the day. Technically, that would be way over my maintenance or whatever. There are some days where I'd eat 4 meals, and what if that was 1,000 calories into my maintenance? Technically, shouldn't that slow my metabolism down and ruin it? I mean, these are all questions that are being asked, but the way that it works for me and for the people that I diet, it doesn't slow your metabolism down. It speeds your metabolism up, whether you believe it or not. That's fine with me. And there is no calculation. I have no idea where my maintenance is, nor do I know where any of my people's maintenance is, which is probably driving all you guys nuts who use the scientific formula. But I believe that the body has an adaptive ability that if you're a competitor in the off-season, you were eating a certain amount, and you didn't even know, hope we gotta shut this message thing off over here on the phone, and you didn't even know how much you're eating. You start plugging it into MyFitnessPal, and we see that you're eating 3,500 calories. Well, let's say I did my, whatever the formula is, and it says I should be eating 1,500 calories. That's a big difference. That's 2,000 calories to drop automatically to start a diet. That diet is going to fail. So you have to find a common ground to try to figure out where your quote-unquote maintenance would be, because just because a formula says that's what it should be doesn't mean that's what it is. Your body doesn't care. It's a living thing and it changes daily. So it doesn't give a shit what a paper says. I do believe in high protein. I do believe in manipulating carbohydrates and fats. I do believe in taking a decent amount of fat. I believe in keto diets. I believe in high carb diets. I believe in carb cycling. I believe in junk loading. I believe in refeeds. I believe in all this stuff and use all of them. And I definitely, without a doubt, use the form of flexible dieting the way it was meant to be. But we've been doing this for years and years and years before flexible dieting was even coined. And we just basically did it by instinct. Whereas, let's say I wanted to eat only tuna. I couldn't stand chicken. I couldn't stand beef. I couldn't stand egg whites. I wanted to eat only tuna 7 times a day. If you're getting your protein, you need the tuna. But I wouldn't eat McDonald's hamburgers 7 times a day to try to get, my food in. My macros in. So, it's very much like ground turkey, egg whites, whole eggs, bison, whey protein, big bitch formula, yogurt. These are what I use for protein sources. And there may be days where I have 3 bison meals in a row. Maybe I have 1 bison meal. Maybe I have no bison meal. So there is consistency without consistency, if that makes any sense at all. Which is probably not. Some of you guys probably get this very easily and just nail it and be like, okay, I understand what he's saying. Some of the other guys may be like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, there has to be a consistency all the way through in your diet. Like, you have to diet, you have to train, and you also have to do your cardio. But there also comes a point where your body changes daily to where you have to be aware that if you're trying to force it to stay on one track, you may be actually losing progress. And this is one of the reasons why I don't hit plateaus, because I see them coming. If my weight doesn't move for a few days, I know I'm coming up to a plateau. So something needs to change before that week is over to get the weight to start dropping again. So that's when it gets adjusted. So it's all by feel. It's not you wait 3 weeks, and if your body, I mean, I've heard girls waiting 6 weeks for the trainer to change something and they haven't dropped a pound in 6 weeks. If that's happened, something's wrong. Okay, if your weight is not dropping weekly, something is wrong, and either your trainer doesn't want to give you the time or he doesn't know how to do it, one or the other. But bottom line is it needs to be changed before 6 weeks comes, and then finally, okay, we'll add some cardio or whatever. So I hope this explains a little bit about what I'm doing with my diet, and it probably doesn't help you very much by me telling you that I do it by instinct and I do it for, on a daily basis, because a lot of you guys out there are looking for a simple formula that you can just punch in your numbers and it prints it out and you take the paper and you follow it. Some of you other guys are looking for something even like looser form, to where you're saying, well, I don't even want to eat 5 meals a day. I want to eat 2 meals a day, and one of them I want to be just complete garbage. That's not how my stuff works. I mean, if you can get results with that, that's great. By all means, go and do it. But that's not what I'm doing. That's not what people do. And I think that some of you are tracking my progress. Some of you don't give a shit, but some of you are actually tracking it and being very supportive about the show coming up, or shows coming up. And today I weighed in at 192. So last week I was 197. 197. Today, 192. So as you can see, the weight continues to go down, even though I'm getting closer to the show. And it's slowing down a little bit, because the leaner you get, the more it's going to slow down. But the weight loss side is not the metabolism. But still, the whole time with no plateaus. So, it's definitely not a myth that plateaus happen, but you don't have to hit a plateau, and then you don't have to drop calories, and you don't have to increase cardio. You can do it by manipulating those factors in a bunch of different ways, but you have to experiment and take the time to learn what works for you, because it's not a simple fix, and it's not something that a coach already has planned if they know what they're doing with this stuff. If they know what they're doing with this stuff, it literally has to be like on a day-to-day basis, and you have to take a lot of responsibility yourself to know when to change things, when something needs to be changed, and stick to the plan, not deviate from it because you feel like it, or, a donut's just as good as a sweet potato. I mean, I've tried all that shit. Believe me, it's not the same thing. So, bioscitraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below. www.bioscitraining.com is the blog, and we're out.